Hey Dive Pros, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Standard. Are you interested in having more students in your classes, or selling more gear, or having more group sales for your trips and travel? If so, you need to be a power influencer. I'm going to share with you that today, what that means to be a power influencer, how you achieve it, why it's so important. So let's start with the story. Back in the early 2000s, the Vail Ski and Snowboard School had a decline in their training. That was for beginner all the way into continuing education. This decline in their training programs also led to a decline in excursions such as heli skiing and cross-country skiing. It also suppressed gear sales, gear rentals, demo packages, all of those things. So what happened was the Vail Ski and Snowboard School, the director, Carol Levine, analyzed the situation by basically looking at the instructors and found out some really wild things. First, she found out that instructors on the chairlifts were saying, hey, go ahead to all their students, and then all the instructors would get together and go up the chairlifts. Another thing that they found was that when it came time for lunch, the instructors would break and say, hey, meet me back here at 1 o'clock, and the customers would go and do their lunch, and all the instructors would eat together. And then the third thing that they found out was that the instructors at the end of the day would high-five everybody and go, great job today, everybody. Maybe you'll come back for some other classes. Have fun. And then the instructors would go après skiing with all their buddies. So here's what Vail Ski and Snowboard School did. They looked at the way that they interacted with customers and they made some changes. First was that the instructors were now encouraged to go up the chairlifts with their students and round robin it every time, so they'd get different students, but they never went up with other instructors. It was always with their students. What happened then? Well, then on that chairlift, you'd have the students ask the instructors, hey, what do you think about these skis? What do you think about this jacket? What do you think about these goggles? What do you wear? And the instructors would be able to talk about their gear, talk about what they recommend for them, give them tips, give them recommendations on where to go, where to get it, etc. The other thing that they saw was that at the lunchtime, they'd made the change so that the instructors now ate with the students at lunch. So the instructor would say, hey, those that want to stick around and eat with me, I'm going to be at this table right here. Feel free to join me. And that way, the students gathered around and they talked at lunch. And the students would ask questions like, hey, what is heli skiing? What's moguls like? What is cross-country like? And they would get into great discussions that led to more sales, more area of interest and exploration for the students. And then the final area that they looked at was the après ski. So at the end of the day, the instructors would encourage their students, but then they'd say, hey, join me for après ski at the base of the mountain. And they would go have a couple cocktails, talk about the day. And they encouraged their instructors to do this only for a half hour with their students. And then they could go have their après ski with all their buddies and their other instructors, but they at least got some time with their students. And guess what that did? That then set the stage for more discussion, and then they're talking about things like, you know, you did really great today. I recommend tomorrow you try the intermediate course, or you're good enough for the advanced course, or you are good enough for moguls, or yeah, you should try this or that. So all of this connectivity happened. And so if you think about it, what took place here was something really epic, was that they looked at making a few changes to culture by showcasing the influencers. Now, who are the influencers? The influencers are the instructors. And so this pertains exactly to us in diving. You are influencers, and how do you become a power influencer? Well, there's actually 4 steps to this. It's pretty easy. Okay, so step 1 of becoming a power influencer is you have to have expertise. Now, expertise is pretty easy, actually, if you think about it. As a dive professional, you're holding a rating that's a dive master or higher. So think of this. Anybody that is a lower level rating, especially beginners or non-divers, they're looking at you in this huge area of expertise because they know how much training or certifications you had to go to get that level. So that makes you automatically an expert in your area. The second area that you're going to need is experience. experience. Now, if you want to be a free diving instructor, great, but you better have what it takes to be that. That means you got to have the experience. You need to be talking about the masks, the fins, the locations you've been to. It doesn't matter if it's free diving, if it's technical diving, whatever it is, you need to bring to the table your experience so that you can tell the stories, that you can do the dialogue of what works, what didn't work for you, what went right, what went wrong, what you like, what you don't like. That's all a part of your experience, and that is also necessary to be a power influencer. The third area to be a power influencer is going to be encouragement. You have to be an encourager. And that means somebody that is absolutely giving all the time encouragement. Telling people what they're doing great, telling people where they can go next, how to improve. Always encouraging, pushing someone to the next level in a responsible, care manner that really shows that you want them to succeed. And the fourth area to be a power influencer is going to be engagement. You have to be present. You have to engage with people. Now that can be in person, it can even be social, virtual. You need to be present, to be a part of dialogues, to be a part of people's lives and part of their stories. You have to engage with people so that they know you, so that you have a relationship, and so that you connect with them. So taking a look back at that Vail Ski and Snowboard School project, my goodness, they did all of the 4 areas. So first, they sat there and had the expertise. They were all ski and snowboard instructors. Second, they had the experience. Why? Because they could talk about moguls, they could talk about heli skiing, they could talk about backcountry, they could talk about cross-country skiing. Why? Because they've done it. And so they were able to engage that discussion with their experience coming to the table and people benefiting from their experience. The third area with Vail was that they were encouragers. They were always encouraging what a person can go up to, where they can move up to, or if they weren't ready to move up, what they needed to do to get better. And then finally, they engaged. The engagement piece was huge. Remember, they were all clustered together as instructors, but instead, they said, let's get you with your students as much as possible. So they raised those contact hours. Those contact hours raised engagement. And because they raised engagement, what happened? Increase in their courses, increase in their continuing education, increase in excursions, and increase in equipment packages and sales. You see, by being a power influencer, you have the ability to improve sales, improve dynamics at your dive center, improve your courses, whatever that means for you. Be a power influencer. Thanks for joining me today. Remember to subscribe, give us some comments, and we will see you next time. Remember, go beyond the standard.